let's take a closer look at the rest of the car. We've looked under the bonnet a huge amount. I've not had the car very long, 2 or 3 months, and I've only really been driving it. I started to drive it properly about a week ago. It's a very, very original car. It's factory original. It's not a restored car. Let me get my body out of the way, causing the shadow. Yes, it's largely its original paint. If we come around here, see the paint's pretty faded on the roof, and there's some lack of peel. To be honest with you, I'm not fussed about such things at this stage. And my main concern is that the panels are so good. There's no rot around the wheel arches. You know, Jaguars rot horrendously around here and into the sills. The door bottoms rot, and this one's not. They tend to bubble awfully along the bottoms here, so from the insides it looks pretty damn good. You know, it's cosmetically it's getting tatty now, but you know, I'm not too concerned about that. You know, the main structure is fantastic. This black stuff, that'll be old wax oil, which is sort of dribbled out of the holes here, but overall it's kept the structure pretty much perfect. The wing bottoms, they rot dreadfully out of the sills, and all around the headlights they rot. Everywhere I'm pointing at, this car is extremely solid. I can go all the way around. It's pretty much the same everywhere, and there's nothing structural on this car. A few minor sort of cosmetic scabs. I can deal with that later when we've got the car really 100%. It really does need an extremely hard sort of jet washing and a rub with a wire brush. It needs completely re-under sealing. The sunlight's so bright here. Now, a couple of areas of concern, and this is a common on a Jaguar, on these XJ6s, they do rust around the windscreen. That potentially is quite serious. I'm not concerned, you know, to be honest with you. I'm a better welder than I am a mechanic, so in this side in particular looks a bit of a mess. It's lost the paint as well, but that will need completely cutting out. There's no filling in this car, you know, and it's starting to creep along here. But at some point I will cut that, fabricate a new section, and I'll weld it in. Ideally the windscreen will be removed, but in the street where I'll be repairing this, I will not be able to do that. I think I should be able to pull out the section, and it will have a lip that will go under the windscreen, and I'll be able to weld in with oxyacetylene. I won't be doing it with MIG. It's too messy and it's too hard. You get less distortion with MIG, but the weld is very hard and very messy. I'll be doing it with oxyacetylene. I believe I'll be able to get within about 8 or 9 millimeters of the rubber. And I'll weld all the way around here quite easily, and I'll have to finish the last little bit with lead. I will almost sort of solder it in place with lead, with like a small torch, possibly even like a chef's sort of flambe torch, but that is potentially quite serious, and like the other side. Well, that's the only real structural rot. But there was a little bit on the sills under here. The car had previously been stored somewhere where it was far from ideal. I think about 5 years in a farm, and it got a bit damp, and damp had got into the box sections and at the bottom here. So it was welded for its MOT. I'm not happy with the weld. That will be cut out maybe 6 months from now, and I'll completely redo that with oxyacetylene. And what else? Yes, this panel under here, which is a common, you know, that's a real mess. That's almost completely rotten. I mean, that just it just unscrews. There's a row of screws along here, and that unscrews. So I've actually bought one of those panels, and I'll paint it before I fit it. Let's have a look. The inside's quite nice too. To be absolutely truthful with you, I've not even sit in the back here. I've not even cleaned the car. I've owned it a little while. I've sort of wiped it down. Look, it's got all whatever that is. I don't know. It is lovely. It's completely original. I love the colour, and I will be re-dyeing. The simple truth is, I work well in excess of 100 hours a week. My days start about 5 AM and they're very, very rarely finish before about 10:30, 11, even midnight. And I drive up to 1,000 miles a week. I'm very busy. It's ridiculous that I think I can sort of pull this car into all of that time, and I'm having to do so. It needs a lot of work, and I have to do it myself. But I don't know, for some reason it's got the original carpet underneath, on these bizarre mats. I've not even sat in the back here. I'll take these out and I will completely clean. They look a bit dirty, but I'm sure I can clean those carpets It's got leaves and God knows what. Honestly, I've not even cleaned it. I just do not have the time, but I will make time. But more important that I get on top of the structure, get on top of all of what I've been doing, like the hoses, all the things that can fail. Make the car safe and reliable. Then I'll come back to cosmetic detailing, and eventually I'll even have time to keep it clean. But it is lovely. Let's have a look. This the veneer is starting to crack here. So I will be looking out for a new complete veneer, and I will not be keeping that sort of ghastly sort of computer thing. I do not like those. I'll look for a panel that's got the smaller, where it just has the clock, and I'll put a traditional clock in there. And this ski slope, a couple of the cars even have veneer here, so I'll probably get a veneered ski slope, and I'll change all of that. Let's have a look. Yeah, some of the stitching, just starting to go. The leather's very good. It's hard, it's dry, and it desperately needs shampooing, and it needs moisturising. And these will all be separate films I'll do in the coming weeks, but to be honest with you, it's hardly urgent at the moment, you know, compared with all of the mechanical jobs I've got to do. So yeah, the veneer, not so much the veneer, but it's the lacquer's peeling off here. So at some point I'll find a new set. And the dashboard's really rather good. I'm not concerned about the dashboard, but let's have a look. Are these really good? Yeah, the lacquer's peeling off. Probably can't see, it's very shadowy. But yeah, it might take 6 months or a year before I get around to doing these details. I'm really not concerned. I'm just mainly concerned about stopping the car rusting, and you know, getting on top of the mechanical side of things. But I'm squeezed up in the back here. Let me pull out. But what I will almost definitely do is when I come to re-dyeing the seats, in the next few weeks I'll shampoo the seats, and they are dirty, but they're original, and it's lost a little bit of colour. But this will revive beautifully with leather shampoo and moisturiser. I'll moisturise it for some while, then at some point I will definitely re-dye the leather to the original colour from Connolly. And there's a few minor problems with the stitching, like here, the stitching's starting to go. Now, I'm not particularly worried, I will deal with that, but it is a case of having to take the whole skin off the frame and re-stitch it from behind, which I can easily do by hand. I'll be able to stitch through the original holes by hand. If any of you know of my main Instagram site, Bespoke Addict, you'll know that I'm quite a collector of, you know, bespoke shoes and leather goods, and I do an awful lot of hand stitching. So this is relatively straightforward and easy job to someone like myself that's used to dealing with leather. And I do look forward to these jobs, but they're not urgent. You know, it's the more urgent is to sort of rust-proof this car. You know, I'll have to sort of re-inject all of the wax oils into the holes. I'll have the inner panels out and spray it all, fill it with wax, fill all the sills with wax. I need to get wax on the underside of here, so I'll have to remove the windscreen wipers and inject it. This rust on a Jaguar, that will need to be injected, as do these pillars. So I'll be able to get the lance from the wax injector into remove the windscreen wiper. I'll be able to thread it. I'll even be able to thread it up the windscreen pillars and fill that with wax. We really need to get wax everywhere. These inner sills, they all rust. So what I'll have to do is drill some probably 5 or 10 mil holes here, and I'll be able to sort of stick the lance along the length of the sill. And it'll be the same at the back here. Yeah, we'll drill a hole here, the sort of hole that you can fill with a rubber grommet. We'll be able to stick the lance in. Where else? We'll have to remove the lights and stick the lance in, because this is double skinned. You've got the outer skin, there's an inner skin. If moisture gets in there, it's a complete nightmare. So we'll stick the lance in the light hole. We'll be able to fill the hole right down these wheel arches, all of this, all around the petrol tanks. We'll be able to fill it all with wax. So there's quite a long way to go. You know, it'll take a year or so to get to all of this, but I really do need to get this wax injected very soon. Look at this, little spider's webs. Hey, it says outside it's going to have a hard life, and once I've managed to, you know, get to all of the structural side of things, make sure that it's safe, make sure it's not going to rot, then I'll start and detail it. I might even have time to keep it a little bit cleaner, but I do love this car and I'm absolutely determined to keep it. So I'll video absolutely everything, and look how close it is to the. Let me just try and zoom the camera in. It's the that's the sea at the end of the road there. Yeah, less than 100 meters away. So it's a salty environment, very, very salty environment, and yeah, this car sits outside. Most of my other videos are made outside my other home, 200 miles away in Nottingham, which is not by the it's not by the sea, so you don't have the salt pond, but it is quite it's a fairly depressed area, that particular location, and the car could be a little bit risky there, but most of the people around there know me, and I don't think they're likely to vandalise the car, if I'm truthful with you. But it does sit in the open. It sits in the open all the time. So yes, it will definitely need a lot of wax treating, and then eventually we'll even get to sorting the paint out. But I think it might be 18 months or so before this car gets painted. But once it gets painted, you know, I'll then be able to sort of really just concentrate on cosmetic servicing and keeping it clean and polished. I do look forward to those days, but we've got a sort of tough couple of years ahead of me, trying to really bring this car up to a standard that it deserves to be. Once again, in the front here, we've got these odd, the original carpets are underneath. I think they're just filthy rather than worn, and with them just being dirty, I'll pull them out and I'll give them a really, really good clean, but that'll be a while away yet. It's a less important detail that in time it will get done, but not today.